What's up, everybody? This is Same Sis,
but different.
and I'm your girl, Shay Live.
And I'm Asia.
And as you can tell, we have another super special guest, and I'm so excited for this because she's a fitness instructor, entrepreneur, boss, babe, Deja Riley. Welcome to Same Sis.
Hey ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on. Yes, we have so many questions for you, solely because we've been saying past episodes, we're trying to get, our bodies together for Asia's wedding, but just like in general of the gyms being closed down and like trying to keep everything afloat. Fitness is definitely something that I think all of the people listening and us specifically can relate to. So we needed to get you on. Before we get into that, we got to do the cheers. So
okay, let's do it.
Okay. What are we drinking?
Charles Shaw Shiraz.
I too will join you with a Charles Shaw. I believe I'm drinking tonight a Chardonnay.
I truly wish I got the memo on the Trader Joe wine. I would have went and got it. But this is my normal Chateau St. Michelle Riesling. I just love it so much.
So bougie. I love it.
I love it.
Let us cheers to staying in shape, staying fit, and having body goals all year long.
All year long.
Love that.
Well, Dej, thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you. I kind of wanted to start off by letting the people know a little bit about yourself. I just remembered today that you grew up at Denise Wall's studio, right?
Yes.
So already off the bat, just even from like being in LA and performing with everyone, like Beyonce, J-Lo, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, like what the hell? That is a lineup. But even to that, growing up at that studio, like everybody knew if you went to that studio, you were basically like a pre-professional child. And that is like the coolest thing. I was like, oh my God, she went to Denise Wall's. Like if you were a studio kid, like I was a studio kid, you knew your studio all over the country. So
that's amazing to hear, because we were like in this, what we believe, smaller city of Virginia Beach, where like, it's just a very humble place. Like people, I think that's a lot of the reason why my dad moved there and didn't move us out to LA, even though he was traveling for music so much. He like moved us to Virginia Beach just so that we could live very normal, like down to earth lives. And so like coming from that studio, I think it's like the same sort of thing. Like we didn't really realize like the magnitude that like our teacher and our studio was respected. Like we had no idea until we left the studio. And then people are like, oh, you're from Denise Wall's? And I'm like, yeah. Like, how do you know my studio name,
But it was just because you guys, everybody there was like powerhouse dancers. Like you guys were incredible. So and a lot of your alumni came to LA and became professional dancers as well.
Yeah.
So that's like, that says a whole lot to, your upbringing and how that all came to be as a professional. But how exactly did you transition from dance? Because you came out here, that's what you were doing for so long at the highest level. Like, how did you transition into fitness? And you keep the elements of dance in your fitness training. So how did that come about?
So I think I keep those elements because dance is always going to be my first love. It's always going to be a passion of mine. It's in me naturally to want to move to the music. So I think that's why the elements of dance just kind of kept fluttering in my life, even though I transitioned to fitness. But it is a whole different industry. I actually only took a liking to fitness through taking like different like group fitness classes. I got a personal trainer at one point because I just felt like in between like being on the road or doing shows, I was pretty like inactive. When I wasn't in rehearsal, I really wasn't like taking care of my body in the right ways. So as I got older and a little bit wiser, I decided that I wanted to start taking care of this one vessel that I get in this lifetime, So I decided to start taking group fitness classes. My sister introduced me to her friend who goes by Cookie now, who has a whole program called Body by Cookie. Shout out to her. She's amazing. But she was my personal trainer. So I was actually seeing a trainer when I first made my transition into fitness. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I would like take photos that would come out with like great form because I was a dancer and I could mimic those kinds of things. So like I started going on like different auditions that would call for, you know, fitness models or like somebody to do some sort of active ad or something like that. And I was like, oh, this would be like really cool for me to maybe transition into fitness modeling. So I was like, that's a good career. Let's pick that. so I'm like, okay, wait, how do you get into that? Because like there's not a lot of like fitness agencies out there. I think I've heard of like 3 since I've been in the fitness industry, and that's like SLU. There's one called Natural something, I don't remember the name of it, and then maybe one other. And then other than that, like it's dance agencies that are sending out, you know, that was a pretty rough transition because there wasn't a lot that they were sending me on for fitness, and they were just sending me out on a lot of dance things, and then every once in a while like something fitness, and I was like, no, really, I like don't want to dance anymore. Like, please stop sending me on dance auditions, please. Yeah. I'm asking nicely, you know. Yeah. And like it was just that part was crazy, but eventually I just decided that I was gonna pull the plug on having an agent altogether, and I just really went full throttle into fitness. And it actually happened because I was at one of my agents at the time's birthday party, and a friend of mine was like, hey, do you think that, you know, you would maybe want to work at a fitness studio? And I was like, no. I was like, I mean, I like going to the classes, but no, I mean, I'm loving fitness in that way, and maybe want to keep doing like some fitness modeling things, but I'm not interested in being anybody's instructor. She's like, well, just like give it a try, like meet my friend. They're opening a new small boutique studio in Santa Monica. You'll love it. And I was like, what kind of fitness is it? And they're like, boxing. And I was like, oh no. I was like, I've never put on a pair of boxing gloves before. Girl. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Dancers can mimic a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't think boxing is one of them.
Honestly, boxing is like a different type of like just sport in general. Like it's not something that you can just like go into thinking that you're going to be great at it, even if you're great at something else.
Absolutely. And it takes like so much training to even just pick up the technique. You know, it's like, it's one thing for us to be chameleons in the arts and specifically in dance and be able to try a bunch of different styles of dance. But this is martial arts is completely different from, you know, these arts like acting and music and dance and things like that. So yeah, so long story short, I ended up just taking the phone call, and I was like, you know what? I'm listening to Shonda Rhimes a lot lately. I'm in a season of yes. I'm gonna just take the phone call. Let's take the phone call. Took the phone call. It ended up being an interview, and I didn't know that I was on a phone interview until a couple questions in, and she starts asking about my work history, and I'm like, huh? But I just answered because I'm already on the phone call, and I can't just be like, what are we talking about? Because the CEO of the company is on the line with the girl who's interviewing me. So I'm like on a 3-way call. I'm also at my like husband's basketball game. He's coaching, and I'm like running in and out of the gym thinking like this was going to be a way shorter call. So I'm like talking to the girl, and she's just basically like, okay, like, you know, we'd really love for you to come in and just like test out the format, see what you think. And then if we, you know, vibe off of each other, they didn't say vibe, but you know, if we like each other, then we'll call you back for an audition. And I was like, okay, cool. I have nothing to lose. Go take the class. Literally, they're like, okay, great. So Wednesday's your audition. And I was like, huh? I can't box. Like, did you not just see me on this bag? I'm like throwing my arms forward, just flailing in the breeze. Happened to be doing it on beat, but definitely still flailing. And I was like, what did you see in me? Like, and you know, us dancers, we're constantly judging ourselves because we're constantly being judged. So it's like, for me, I'm like, oh no, that was the worst. That was definitely one of the worst meetings I've ever had. And let alone, they're like, no, come back for an audition, come back, audition. End up getting it. I started working at that studio after training for months. I was literally boxing like every single day. And I don't even know what my friends were thinking when they were like looking at my Instagram. They were probably like, she is going through something. Because I was boxing every day, like all over. And so after I trained a while, I ended up working for that studio for about 1.5 years before I like ventured off to do my own thing, just to get heavy into personal training and get some more certifications and things like that. And now we're here.
Hey, I did not.
Okay.
I just learned so much.
No, I'm like, that is a lot to unpack, and I want to get to all of it. But before we do that, I think we talked about on our show before, just like transitioning from one career to the next. And like you kind of mentioned in your last answer, just like it wasn't all easy. You weren't really sure. Like you were just in the season of yes. And sometimes that just really is what works. But what would you say was like the most difficult part that you weren't that you didn't really expect when changing your career? And then also on the opposite end of that, like what's been the best part now that you have changed your career and you're all the way in it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that the most unexpected part is that I could have a career that was as fulfilling as my dance career for my mind, my body, and my soul. Honestly, I thought dance was the end all to be all. When I started dancing at the age of 3, I always knew I'm going to be a dancer. My parents threw me into so many things. I played saxophone, the violin, the piano. I took vocal lessons. I was doing everything. I was in theater, and nothing stuck. It was always dance. So when I moved out to LA, I had every intention on becoming the top, whatever that looked like, the top professional dancer in the industry. No questions asked. I'm going to be the best that I possibly can be. And then when I realized that that industry was making me feel so much more insecure, so much smaller, so much less than, so much just like feeling like not enough, really, bottom line, like just not ever feeling fulfilled. And this was the one career that I was like, this is it. This is where like my name is in lights, it's the grand marquee, you know? And to find out that it wasn't that, and to learn so many lessons and get so many blessings along the way, I really honestly just never thought I'd find anything like it. So in my mind, I was like, you know, maybe I'll end up like working for a great publication or something, because I like to write. So I'm like, maybe I'll end up writing for like a PopSugar or something. It's funny because I did write down PopSugar, but not for what I'm doing it for now, which is a whole another conversation, manifestation. But I definitely like just kind of hung my dance shoes up, and I was like, whatever's next is not going to be as great in my world as dance ever was. So like, I think I always carried dance with me in that sense, but that was a very unexpected thing. I think now what's been the best part is that I get to connect with people all over the world and make them feel good about themselves. And I think that, you know, for me, that's like a full 180 from what I was feeling in the dance industry. I didn't feel good about myself. And now I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum, and I'm making others feel good about themselves after finding that feel good, you know, emotion within myself. So I think that, yeah, that's the best part.
That's great, because I feel like a lot of times when we're changing careers in their late 20s or early 30s, you're just like, what in the actual fuck did I just do? And like the first like year, I feel like it's just like stepping on eggshells, you know, but it's definitely something like you're a testament to it, that it's like on the other side of it, it comes out good. Because when you're not feeling good about something, you should probably try something else.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. I wish somebody would have said that to me in my early 20s, because I was not feeling very good when I was just feeling very
not a good feeling.
No.
Well, you mentioned manifesting PopSugar in a different way in your life, but that is one of your many collabs. But how did that one specifically come about in your life?
Yeah, so right after I left the boxing studio that I mentioned that was in Santa Monica, I actually thought that I was going to then go teach for Rumble. So I was in the midst of doing their contender program. They had flown me out to New York, and I was taking a bunch of classes. And I was also visiting my aunt in the hospital at the same time. And one of the days when I was at the hospital, I got a phone call from PopSugar, which I had done one video with them prior. I don't know if you guys are like familiar with the platform, but basically like they have a lot of guest instructors. Yeah. So I was a guest instructor just to do like a short boxing workout on their platform. And the workout hadn't even come out yet. And I was getting a call from the head of talent at PopSugar. And he called me on the phone and he basically just said like, hey, we have this interesting opportunity coming up. We just want to know what your like January, February, March is looking like. And I was like, yeah, so what's the opportunity? And he's like, we can't say, but but you know, we think that you would be great for it. You have a great personality, and you know, it's just something that PopSugar is going to be testing out. But we just kind of wanted to gauge where you're at right now, like what's next for you. And then I'm like, well, I think I'm going to be teaching at a new studio potentially. And that's about it. I'm still, you know, expanding my personal training business, like, you know, very new to this industry. So like this hadn't even been, I think this was like coming up on my 2-year mark of being in the fitness industry. And now I'm at 4 years. So this is a couple of years ago. So he's like saying to me like, yeah, you know, this would be a really fun opportunity, but yes, we're still exploring it. And so I was like, okay, cool. Ended up having to make the decision between going to Rumble or going to PopSugar because Rumble's an exclusive brand. So they were just like, you know, you're going to have to choose between the two. And in my mind, I was like, what? I have to choose between going to like this super amazing, hot, sexy brand and boxing with them, or like going over here and like working with a very fun, loving, upbeat brand. Like both of the choices were amazing. I was like, how do I have to make this decision right now? And then my husband reminded me, as he always does, that it's like a good problem to have, you know, like that's not.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's like not a bad thing. You just have to like go with your heart and gut, decide what you think is best. You can't make a wrong decision because it's for you. So I was like, all right. And I went back and forth a bunch of times in my head. I wrote a lot of things down. And I also stumbled across a page in my journal where I had written down PopSugar. And I honestly like wasn't manifesting it in this way, nor did I know the opportunity that was in front of me before making the decision. But I just jumped. I was like, oh, no. This is right. Like, there's a reason why I'm seeing this right now. There's a reason why I need to attack this. I'm going to jump. I'm going to make the leap. And then I ended up finding out that it was to become a dance host on their new YouTube and Facebook. And then they have like active.popsugar.com. But on their platform, they needed a host for their dance sector, as they have a PopSugar host that kind of does this thing called Class Fit Sugar. And so that's all other forms of workouts or all other types of workouts. And then they wanted to separate the dance like style or like that form of working out. They wanted to separate it from the others. So they made Dance Fit Sugar. And so now I'm the host, and it's been a little over a year that I've been hosting it. I passed my 1 year for the show actually launching, because we started filming months before, but the 1 year was in March. So yeah, now I'm
congratulations.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
What advice would you give for like up and coming trainers or just creatives in general that are trying to work with a brand or, you know, collaborate with somebody? Like, what advice would you give to somebody up and coming?
Honestly, it's been really interesting because I've gotten to like mentor some people. So I'm going to kind of spit out those pieces of advice that I've been giving to them. But I would say the first thing is you just need to find what's special about you. Find your niche. Find your it thing, because we all have it. We all have something inside of us that makes our light shine brightest. So I think that is the perfect way to like first lay a foundation, figure out who you are. And I think for me as a dancer, like I didn't truly know who I was because I was always morphing into something that somebody else wanted me to be. So now that I truly know who I am, my voice is so much clearer and so much louder, and I can truly like resonate. Like I feel like the light that's coming from me, you know? So I think that it's really important to find that thing for you. Find that thing that makes other people feel good and that also makes you feel good. And then I would say, you know, you have to be consistent. Consistency is key. I think that so often, a lot of young people do it, and I say this because I have tons of younger siblings, 9 to be exact, and I watch them all do it, and they're all like hopping around doing 5 million different things, and it's all amazing because they're great at the things that they're choosing to do, but there's no consistency. So it's like when somebody then goes to look you up and like maybe goes to your Instagram page or your Facebook page and you've been hopping around doing 5 million things, they don't know what to call on you for. So I think consistency is key. Like whatever that it thing is that you have, trust yourself and trust that you are the only you. There's nobody else like you. That's your superpower already. So find those things, those it things that make you you, put them all together and keep doing them over and over and over again. It's going to feel redundant. It might feel boring on some days. You might get tired. You might want to get lazy, but like even on those days, push through. It's going to make you stronger. And it's definitely going to make people see your light.
Love that.
I'm
everyone listening to this just needed that right there. I already know.
Tell us more, Deja. No, that's
I love you guys.
So true. But with your authenticity and all of your collabs, you also have your own YouTube channel.
Yes.
And you have your dance series, Dance Out of the Box.
Yes, you said it right. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying it right.
How do people normally say it?
So people will be like dancing outside of the box, dance outside of the box. I've gotten so many like
you're like
name, and I'm like, it's just dance out of the box.
Dance out of the box. That's it.
Well, speaking of both, what do those entail, and what kind of person is this series kind of geared towards?
So I will say that, first of all, it entails my 2 favorite styles of working out, boxing and dance. It is a music-driven workout. It is a workout designed to make you sweat, but also to feel good. So I like to deliver my method as something that is not about a scale. It's not about burning a ton of calories, burning belly fat, shaping or toning your body, really. I mean, even though I'm using those principles just as a fitness professional, it's not about that. It's about how it feels. So I cater a lot of my workouts to the beginner. However, somebody who's advanced, I'm always going to give you a more advanced option. And then I'm always going to rely on those modifications to keep my beginners engaged. I would say that if you're looking for like quick cardio, my choreography series is like short, like 10-minute videos where you can learn a little ABCD choreography, put it together, but it's like a mini workout. And then my other workouts are just all dance and boxing based. I've been doing some YouTube lives and stuff, and also just sharing other videos that I have. So yeah, that's what's on there.
Nice.
And if anybody goes to your channel now, they'll see one of your recent videos is a daddy-daughter workout.
Yeah.
And the people who don't know, Teddy Riley, the legend himself, is your dad.
Yeah.
I'm sure people ask you like how cool it is to be his daughter all the time. So we're gonna skip past that question. If you want to add it in, you go ahead.
I mean, you know, he's a pretty cool guy, so I'll probably sprinkle that in the answer.
But how much has he influenced you in being a performer and being a dancer throughout your life? And then like, how do you carry that over in fitness now?
For sure. So my dad is definitely a musical genius. And I think that's where it starts, is that music has always been a part of me. It's the reason why I love to dance. No one wants to dance to bad music. No one. So for me, I like when I hear something that just makes me light up inside, I want to move. I think that comes from growing up in a musical household. But I would say that one of the things that I admire most about my dad is his work ethic. He is one of the most like diligent and hardworking people that I've ever met in my entire life. And I think that that kind of like influenced me in a way to like whatever I was going to do in life, I was going to work really, really hard at it because my parents would accept nothing less. So for me, it's like, I admire that part and I carry it with me. And though like our industries aren't really related, I would say that I definitely mimic him when it comes to my work ethic. I'm like, oh, my dad is just not going to be outworked. Like if he has to be up to the wee hours in the morning, finishing something and then wake up the next morning to get started on it again or to do another project, he's going to do it. So I'm like, whatever it takes. And that's how I was with dance too. So it's like, I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And now applying that same work ethic to fitness has definitely been something that's aided me in my success.
So
Super cool.
I know this is totally separate, but me and Asia are both like really close to our dads and like joke all the time. And so I just have to ask, during the Versus Challenge, were you guys joking with your dad or did you guys just brush under the rug? Like,
okay, so honestly, true story. We were all freaking out and we like literally got onto House Party because that's the only place where all of us could be at the same time. We got onto House Party and we're all like freaking out, just trying to figure out like, what can we say to dad to make him feel better after this whole fiasco has happened? Like, what can we do? And then he posted like Spice Adams reenacted the whole thing and he posted it and I was like, oh, he's laughing about this.
Yeah.
Okay. I call him on the phone. He's on the other end laughing like, I've never been roasted. This is great. Like laughing hysterically. So then I busted out laughing and then all was well. I hit all my siblings. They all called him too. And we were all laughing about it before the night was even over. So
see, but that's how you know that he's like the ultimate legend because like, sure, it was a funny moment. You had your memes, you had your moments, but everyone that I like was like seeing on the internet, everyone's like, oh, everyone, please, Teddy Riley is a legend. Like, don't even try it. Like, he was giving you production value. I'm like, yes, thank you. If it was, you know, that's an icon. That's a legend. You get that respect. You know. Yes. So that was very, very cool. And I love your family. Y'all are so cute.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
I just
you.
love you guys so much. So you said before that you went into your boxing audition never having boxed ever.
Yes.
So you and Shayna have this in common now. Like Shayna is an incredible boxer. Okay, she's very, very good. She's very good.
She's saying incredible, which is kind of putting a lot on it.
No,
but
she's very.
Wait. We have got to box together.
No, I would love to box with you. Would love
yes.
So
you don't need that many boxing females. So thank you for saying that, Asia, because I need
anytime.
Let's do this.
So Deja, I like go into my first class and I'm like, I was basically how you sounded earlier where you were just flailing about. Like I was
we go into Rumble and Asia's like, they give us like the gloves and the wraps and she's like, what do I do with these? And I'm like, all right, let's get you together.
And she like puts them on and I'm like, okay, so I'm standing there and she's like, you know, fully in the stance, like with the legs. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, this must be like golf. It must have a 1 foot one. Okay. So I like stand there and Shayna's like going for it. And I'm cracking up at myself because I'm like, okay, we're going to the beat that I've got. But like, as far as this lingo and as far as like what direction and where exactly I'm hitting this from, I was cracking up. And every time I look at Shayna, she was like in it. And I'm like, okay, maybe put your whole body into it. Like maybe really, really do it. And it would not stick for me at all. So you being now an instructor, but having to be a student prior to being an instructor, like what is teaching a boxing class as opposed to like, what do you need for a boxing class as opposed to like a dance class, still being an instructor of both?
So I would definitely say the knowledge, like actually getting my NASM and like getting my women's fitness specialization and things like that, it helped me with my form. So like that part was a little hard for me, because mimicking dance, you know, if your body is maybe a little bit tilted the wrong way and you're not in like a group of people, you still look like you're doing the move, right? Unless you're literally trying to match somebody shoulder to shoulder. But usually like you lean a little bit, they're leaning, you're in the right space. But with boxing, it's so specific. Like your stance has to be right. As you extend your punches, like holding your other hand up on guard and like moving and hitting different defensive moves and stuff, it's so specific, and it takes repetition. It's like, you know, for us, we go into rehearsal, we practice a dance over and over and over, we nail the choreography, we can perform it on stage. It's very different with boxing because you can always learn something new. You can always sharpen your technique. So with boxing, like I still don't feel like I'm a pro. I mean, like, yes, now I'm a certified amateur fighter, but I can't say that like I am ready to get in the ring with Clarissa Shields, or, you know what I mean? Like, it would take a long time for me to get to that place, you know? So like for me, it's like, I love it that it's always pushing me. It's always making me like reach for more and continue to grow. And like at first, man, I can definitely relate. I was cracking up at myself. I was like,
Deja, I was laughing so hard because I was like, I get what's going on here with this. I'm here with this. I'm here with this. And then it was like, you know what was hard, and what I think is hard for boxing for me, it's the, I guess, would they be called routines? The little sets? Okay,
yeah, the combos. Yeah.
Combos, yes.
The little set?
It's the little, it's like, because we do 5, 6, 7, 8, and we count to 8. When you throw odd numbers at me in a routine and then you want me to do something on the other side after doing an odd number, like I was like, what's happening? I was crazy. I was like, Shayna is a brilliant boxer and I'm here for shits and giggles, okay? Please.
Well, we're all gonna go boxing together. We're definitely gonna go and take a class together, maybe hit some mitts and stuff. Like, it would be so fun for us just to do that. So we're planning this outing right now.
I would love that.
Mark your calendar. And like, honestly, like, I feel like if a boxer, because I actually have taught some of my boxing friends how to dance, they'd have the same reaction. So like, I was trying to teach a kickball change to one of my friends that's like a professional fighter. Like, he's had like tons of fights, like at least over 50. I was teaching him a kickball change. It took me 1 whole hour just to get the kick and then step across. We were just kicking, stepping across. We can't ball change yet. Just kick, step across.
Yeah.
And it was like that thing where I was like, oh, I get it. I'm just like a little bit out of my element. I can get into this element, but it just takes time, you know?
Yeah, I love boxing. I haven't been able to box in like probably a year now. So whenever you're ready for us to join you, let me know.
Do it. Yes. I literally like, I've been wanting so badly to hit mitts, and like I almost want to teach my husband how to use them because I want to do it so bad. And I've only been able to like throw punches, shadow box and stuff in my room, and then I have like a little standing bag here. So like I've been punching the standing bag, but like there's nothing like hitting mitts or like being in the ring sparring. Like, oh, I miss it so much.
Yes, we do. But for somebody who's just getting into their fitness journey, what would you tell them is like the most efficient way to see results? Because I feel like most people, they start out and it's like a slow result situation, and then they give up or they're discouraged. So like, what's the best way to see results, and how much time would you tell somebody to give themselves?
So I'm going to say something that's a little unorthodox and probably won't be appreciated by some of my fitness professional friends. However, my advice to the everyday person is throw the scale away. Do not weigh yourself. Just see yourself. I am all about putting out methods that make you feel good. Because if it doesn't make you feel good, you're not going to go back to it. We were just having this conversation, like, you're like, I can't clip in my shoe at SoulCycle. I hate this. I don't want to come back, you know? So it's the same thing when selecting at-home workouts or finding that style of workout that you really, really love. It has to make you feel good. You have to want to get into it and want to get the work done in order for it to actually show any real results. So my clients that I have trained in the past, like, and right now I'm not doing like a lot of one-on-one training because I'm just trying to reach the masses as much as I can. So I'm doing like just a lot of group classes and lives and stuff. But when I was training more of my personal clients, I'd be like, please stop getting on the scale. 1, muscle weighs more than fat. 2, if you are a woman, your weight is going to fluctuate on like almost a daily basis. And like if you're weighing yourself and like you're on your cycle, sorry guys, you're on your cycle, it's going to be very different than if you're weighing yourself and you're feeling like a feather. Like it's just, it's so like your body's constantly changing. Throw away the scale with the point. Like who are we trying to size this number up to? You know? So my thing is like, focus on what makes you feel good. Find things that make you feel good. Put things into your body that make you feel good in moderation. Because if some things make you feel good, you probably shouldn't like overload. But you know, I think it's all about a feeling. Fitness should be something that makes you happy, that brings joy to you, that, you know, lights up your day and energizes you. Not something that you're like, oh, do I really have to do this? Like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to do another push-up. Like, what's the point? You know, you're just making yourself miserable and you are going to revert back to old habits. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Pretty good advice. Because that scale, I'll be swearing that it's lying to me sometimes.
It probably is, girl. Throw it away. Throw it away.
All right. Well, I know we kept you a little bit longer, but we normally play a little game at the end. So we're going to play a little game. Okay, so it's called Do It or Dump It. And we're going to basically say like something that is out there in the fitness world that people tell themselves, or, you know, little myths or whatever. You let us know if it's something you should do or something you should dump.
I love this.
Okay, first one. Should you really be stretching before and after? Does it make a big difference?
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Seriously. You can injure yourself. And we don't want that. I always remind everybody that the warm-up is just as important as the cool down. Cool down is just as important as the warm-up. Please do both.
Next, if you want abs, just do a lot of crunches.
Dump it. Guys, it's so funny because when I hear people like, I have to have your abs. And I'm like, you gotta have my parents. Because lots of that is just genetics. I'm just telling you, like, you know, if I did not have that abdominal structure underneath my skin, like it would not pop like that. Like my parents, it's my parents. Like genetics. I work really, really hard to make sure that I can stay toned and that I am in the best heart health and, you know, best physical health that I can possibly be, but dump it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about it.
What about 15 minutes of activity a day is enough to be in good health?
Depends on who you are. I can't say do it or dump it because, you know, everybody's body is different. What one person may need due to their, you know, health history is very different from what another person may need. We're 3 beautiful, fit women on this, should I say podcast? Yes, or
yeah.
We're talking and seeing each other. So honestly, this is so glorious to me. I would stay here forever. But sitting here and having this conversation with you guys, like it's, you know, 3 beautiful, fit women, but something works differently for each of our bodies. Something works differently for each of our mindsets, you know, something works differently for each of our spirits. So at the end of the day, like I can never give somebody this like uniform advice and say to do it or dump it when it comes to that. So I'm going to say neutral.
Okay.
What about intermittent fasting is a quick weight loss fix?
Well, I'm going to have to go neutral on this one too, because it has worked for some of my clients. I am not a nutritionist or a dietitian. And if you knew half the things that I was eating, you wouldn't think I was a fitness professional either. So I will go back and say everything is different for everybody.
Okay. All right. Well, what about pre-workout drinks? People say pre-workout drinks are important before you get your workout in. Do it or dump it. And you can't stay neutral on this one.
All right, fine. I won't stay neutral. I'm going to say dump it because for me, I have more than enough energy when I'm about to do a workout. However, I won't say that I never take them. I recognize and listen to my body on a daily basis. So if I feel like I need a pre-workout, if I need to put some BCAAs into my system, I'm going to listen to my body. But if I feel like I can fully function, I'm well rested, I've allowed my body the proper recovery time, and I am a spring chicken and ready to go, I'm just going to use what I have, you know? Yeah. So I'll say do it if you feel it.
Love it.
I'm really curving these answers.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry, Dad.
Well, the last one is cardio isn't for everyone.
Ooh, dump it. Cardio is for everyone. And I really think that people mistake cardio for plyometrics. So you don't have to be jumping to be doing cardio. Cardio is whatever gets your heart pumping. That's just like the easiest or simplest way to say it. I put out low impact cardio workouts myself. So I will say that yes, everybody needs to get the blood flowing, their heart's pumping, no matter what age you are, no matter what gender you are, whatever walk of life you're in, you need cardio.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also think that like cardio is just running.
Yeah.
So they're
Yes,
like, I
that
don't want to
too.
do it.
Okay. Yeah. People think running and people think like plyometrics, like anything like jumping. So like, it's so interesting to me because then I'm like, well, if that was the only thing that got your heart racing, then like, you know, I should probably be able to do like 5 million push-ups. I should be able to do 5 million tricep dips and not break a sweat. My heart rate should not move. You know what I mean? Like if you think about it, you're like, well, you're deeming that not cardio. You're saying it's strength or whatever the case may be. So it's like, then that shouldn't get your heart pumping, but it's still cardio.
Big point, because I'm somebody who doesn't like cardio. I just bought a bike recently because I'm like, if I don't have to run another second in my life, I would love that. So I try to just only run like once a week, and then I'll ride my bike for my other cardio.
You want to know a fun fact?
I do want to know a fun fact.
I don't run at all.
Oh, I love to hear that.
I don't run at all. In fact, I use other things for cardio. Dance, I box, I do love plyo. So like I do a lot of plyometric exercises. I will do a whole at-home cardio workout, all body weight, no equipment, and be drenched in sweat. I just did it this morning. So it's like, you can find things that you love. It goes back to that method of like finding things that make you feel good. If running doesn't make you feel good, don't do it. Like people are probably going to be like, this girl.
I'm done. Won't do it again.
But honestly, it's the truth, because it's like, you know, for me, like when I run, I don't get that thing that they call runner's high. I don't get that.
Okay.
I find a runner's low, and I'm like, when am I going to get to stop? Am I at 3 miles yet? Because if I'm not, we're going to cut it at 2.5. Like, it's not my thing. And, you know, for a lot of people, running isn't their thing. I've had people that are like, it's just really bad on my knees, my hip joints. Like, I can't run. And I'm like, that doesn't mean that you can't do cardio. There's other ways to do cardio, you know? So yeah, you don't have to run anymore. But don't tell anybody I told you that.
Well, it's out there now, and now all of us are not going to run either. So it's all good. But thank you so much for being on here. I feel like we could talk to you literally all day.
We have to do it again. That's the solution.
So we already plugged your Instagram and all of that, but if you want to like go ahead, plug it again so everybody knows where to find you.
Yes. On Instagram at Deja Riley, at Deja Riley Athletics. On YouTube, youtube.com/Deja Riley, or PopSugar Fitness's page. And then I also have DejaRiley.com. So find me there.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. And then you guys know you can find us on all social media platforms at Same Sis Podcast. We're now streaming on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So make sure you're on those pages as well as the YouTube channel if you like to watch us.
This was like so much fun. I can't wait till we can all be together in person. It's going to be amazing,
Yes.
you know. But thank you guys for having me. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for being on. We can't wait to have you on next time. And until next Wednesday, y'all.
Bye.